It's been over 2 months since the Tudor Black Bay 58 Burgundy was released, and here are my thoughts. Tudor continues to walk that thin line between technical superiority with watches that feel no less premium in fit and finish than those that cost many thousands more. That's what Tudor's great at, and they've done it again with this new Black Bay 58. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the photos of this, I was like, oh god, they've made a dial inspired by cough drops. But when you see the watch in the metal, you'll appreciate that the color looks much better. It's not as flashy as the photos will have you believe. Tudor continues to dominate the most vulnerable price segment in watchmaking, the upper mid-range. Most of the watches from Tudor sit in that weird space where they're not necessarily cheap, but not too expensive either. You get good value for money, which isn't something we expect when we talk about premium watches. And while the rest of the brands in that $4,000 to $5,000 price range are starting to become tougher to justify, yes, they do play it safe, especially with their permanent collections, but they don't just throw random ideas on the wall to see what sticks. Like Rolex, Tudor seems to have just enough of a conservative approach so as to make considered upgrades at the right time and with the right changes. Not just the dial change, not just with newer sizes, but minor details that non-watch geeks may not even notice at first glance. That is, until they put the watch on their wrists. But that's the brilliance of Tudor. Some may call the new release boring, but I think it's brilliant in the way that it's not just another 58, but technically a much better 58. With every new major Tudor release, there's an air of excitement and anticipation. Tudor prediction videos right before Watches and Wonders flood the social platforms every year. But the anticipation is in what will evolve, what technical elements will improve. Because those details may not be obvious when you look at the watch, but they can be felt when you wear them on a daily basis. When the Black Bay 58 first came out in 2018, it was an instant hit. Everybody who could afford it wanted one right away, and those that couldn't aspired to own it someday. The idea that there were actual waitlists at the ADs for a $4,000 watch was an unprecedented phenomenon at the time. It was the perfect watch. And after 7 years of releasing special editions and dial variations, Tudor has finally revamped the 58, combining all of the latest technological upgrades that we've seen in recent professional sports models from the brand. The watch measures 39mm in diameter with a lug-to-lug of 47.5mm, a lug width of 20, and a thickness of 11.7mm, making it 2mm slimmer than the previous generation of the 58. This has to do with the use of the latest Calibre MT5400-U, which has allowed Tudor to redesign the case to have a slimmer profile. This is the same movement used in the Black Bay 54, the Pelagos 39, and even the latest Black Bay 54 Blue Lagoon. While the previous calibers were COCs tested, the new movements go through a far stringent series of tests for higher magnetism, shocks, and better accuracy. We still get 200 meters of water resistance, but with a more recessed screw-down crown, and a dome sapphire crystal that sits in between modern and vintage. Apart from the case, there are also other upgrades that will be more appreciated from a usage rather than an aesthetic point of view. Things like the more prominent knurling leading to a better grip when turning the bezel, the option of having the brand new 5-link bracelet that Tudor collectors have been longing for, or the T-fit clasp on all 3 bracelet and strap options with clasp leading on the fly micro adjustment. Tudor doesn't play around. They find a price range and then go ahead and produce the best engineered bracelets, clasps, cases, and movements possible in that price range. While this may trim their profit margins in the short run, like Rolex, Tudor seems to be focusing on brand building. And that's what makes so many of us in this watch hobby just respect the brand, no matter how safe they play it with their designs. Similar to the Black Bay 54 and the Pelagos 39, we now have a sunray dial in Burgundy. The dial is a callback to a Tudor Submariner prototype, reference 7900 from the 90s. And Burgundy being as important to the brand as green being to Rolex, this is a visually striking release for the brand. Personally, to me, the 3-link bracelet gives off the most modern and toolish look, while the rubber strap is definitely leaning towards a more sporty vibe, and the 5-link bracelet is just the dressiest of all. While many will rightly claim that that Rolex has been a trendsetter for decades, giving popularity to the dive watch with the Submariner and the everyday style watch with the Oyster Perpetual. Tudor seems to have taken over that role in the last 15 years, with the likes of the Black Bay line inspiring dozens of entry-level mainstream brands and even micro brands, pushing the vintage-inspired dive watch style forward with modern specs. But Tudor hasn't just been successful in their design. Their recent play with funky dials and the use of high-tech materials suggests that they could be taking this idea even further. Tudor has immensely enjoyed being in the driver's seat for the best value for money premium dive watch, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.